Well, we've shown you a lot about how to use the Browning Smoke Vault as a cooker and a smoker. But its great versatility also lends itself to being able to do almost a dehydration process. And this is where you've got vegetables that come into play. Again, you're almost limited by your imagination in terms of what you want to be able to dehydrate. Now, I can tell you that probably one of the most popular things out there right now is the dehydrated and smoked tomatoes. So today we're going to do tomatoes, we're going to do peppers, and we're going to do onions. And the beauty of it is that it's going to save you a lot of money. Now, you start with any of the tomatoes that are out there. I like the Romas in particular because they're a firm tomato. So what you're going to do is you're going to core them, cut them in half, slice them on down however you like. The same thing with the peppers. Now, the green pepper is probably always the cheapest, but if you really want to add a lot of color to some sort of a trail mix or something that you can spice up with your soups and your salads, what have you, there's the reds, the yellows, the oranges. And again, when it comes to the onions, you can work with a white onion, a yellow onion, a red onion. But if you happen to be the time of the year where the Vidalias or some of the Maui sweet onions and things like that are available, those are also good. Now, in the past, we've told you, be careful, measure. Make sure that everything is in sync with the amount of whatever you're preparing. This time, you're going to have a little bit of fun. You don't have to be exact. So, start with a tomato, core it out a little bit, slice it up like this. You've got different seasonings, all from from High Mountain Seasonings. These particular seasonings here are some of the ones that we've already tried, and they work really good. I've got the Cajun Campfire, I've got just the regular steak, and I've got the Cajun Bacon Sprinkles. All of these are going to add a little zing to whatever you're doing. So, start with your tomatoes. You've got them all laid out like this. Pick a pepper. Just slice it up. Don't have to be exact. Anywhere between about 3/8 and a ½ inch because they're really going to shrink down. Same thing with the tomatoes. You're going to find that they're about 90% water. And once that water is gone out of them, all of this stuff, the flavor just absolutely pops. So like that. Make it simple on yourself. Same thing with the onion. Clean it off real good. Give it a slice like this. Basically, you're going to make dried up onion rings. Now, when it comes to using the tomatoes, they've got a lot of moisture in them. So all you've got to do is just sprinkle your sauce, whatever your marinade is that you want to use on it. This one is the campfire, or the Cajun Campfire. Like that, lay them out. Again, leave a little bit of room between them because you want the smoke to be able to get through and everything. Now, when it comes to the onion and your peppers, here's a little secret that'll add a little extra spice to everything. Take them, throw them in a gallon freezer bag or whatever, break it up a little bit. So again, like I said, you're going for the onion ring effect. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. If a couple of them stick together, no harm, no foul. Now, for a little extra flavor, you can use one of two spices. One of them out there is you can add a little Worcestershire sauce. What you're wanting to do is add a little moisture to a drier vegetable so that your spices are going to stick to it. So you can use Worcestershire sauce or even a little splash of soy sauce. One thing that you don't want to use is you don't want to use any sort of an oil. And the reason is that once the spices stick to the vegetable and you've got an oil base, it almost is like a sealant. It doesn't allow the smoke to really get in. So on this particular one, I always like Worcestershire sauce. Just a little splash is all you need. In here like that, pick your spice. On this one, I'm going to use the Cajun Bacon Sprinkles. Open up your package, give it a good dousing. And again, nothing has to be exact. Seal it up, shake it around a little bit. And again, they don't have to be coated. You're not looking for a real coat or a rub like you would on a rib. All you want to do is just add a little bit of spice that when you're in camp or out at your tailgate party or whatever, it's going to taste good. And again, remember, you're going to get a lot of flavor from the smoke. And even on the woods, you can use an alder, you can use hickory, You can go to apple, you can go to cherry, peach, any of those that are, that's one of your favorites. Now what you do is simply spread them out like that. And again, spread them out so that you've got some space between them. And trust me, it may look like you're going to fill up your jerky rack with all of this stuff, but you're going to be surprised here in a minute when I reach down through the miracles of television and show you just how small everything is. So now you got it ready to go. When you're using the smoke vault on this, basically low and slow. And part of the fun of this is not one where you got to rush out and check it every 2 or 3 hours. These tomatoes are going to take 12 to maybe 20 hours to actually get to that real dry stage. So if you want to, set it up when you get home from work, in the afternoon, next morning before you go to work, check on it. If they're still a little mushy, everything's still a little soft, hey, let it go, because you're going to want to keep it at a very low temperature. This is where now on the smoke vault, either you're going to want it, depending on what the weather is. Today it's windy, so we'll probably set it down between really close to low or almost to medium and watch it from there. On a calm day, you practically even keep it on warm. Let me show you now the secret of. We're going to take this and we'll put this in and we'll say goodbye for the next 14 hours or so. Okay, check this out. That's what your tomatoes are supposed to look like when they come out. Again, you've lost all of the water factor. Now here we have some more tomatoes. These are your onions, and look at the peppers. They're little chips that can be thrown into a freezer bag, taken on the trail, used for spicing, or actually set out with some of the High Mountain Seasonings dips. They make good finger food. Okay, now one last thing, and that is, you ever bought sun-dried tomatoes at the store? They come in a little thing of olive oil, and a little jar will run you for 4 to 6 ounces, probably $7 to $8. Well, guess what? You can use this for dipping and for chewing on, and the flavor, oh, it's so intense. Have a cold beverage with it too, because it is almost overwhelming. But here's where I'm going to show you how to save money. Get yourself a canning jar or anything, leftovers, whatever. Now you can use the virgin olive oil. Simply pour it in, whatever you're not going to use for snacks, throw those into the jar, shake them up real well. You've just saved $6, $7, $8, $9 by putting this in a little half-pint jar. It'll keep for months and months and months. You can use it for any recipes that then call for sun-dried, extra virgin olive oil tomatoes. And the flavor, like I said, is wonderful. When you're putting them up, last thing to keep in mind is that if you're going to do all of this and go through the time and trouble, make a bunch of them. Maybe do 2 or 3 batches, or at least fill the shelves with everything. The reason is they're not going to last very long because they're such great snacking food.